I want to revisit the movies I saw in 2025 before fully diving into what I'm watching in 2026. I had a lot of fun with the movies I saw in 2025, albeit most of them were new releases and new watches. I did do a handful of rewatches like the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy over the summer. I saw Jaws 50th anniversary re-release, which was awesome. I saw Back to the Future 40th anniversary re-release, but a new movie that I saw in theaters that was a re-release for Regal Cinema Classics was Doctor Strangelove, and that was a very fun experience. I got to go see that with my mom. It's one of her favorite movies. But I do have my 2025 releases ranked. All new movies that came out in 2025 that I saw ranked. At 25, I have a Minecraft movie, a 2-star. I have Captain America Brave New World, a 2.5-star. I have A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey at 23, start of my 3 stars. Death of a Unicorn at 22, and Good Fortune here at 21. I want to talk about Good Fortune. I think it was a fun entry into the comedy genre. I saw The Naked Gun, which we'll get to here in a minute. I did not see Friendship, and I've heard Friendship is, I think, the best of the 3 in terms of the comedy genre, but Good Fortune, it was a fun entry with Aziz Ansari in his, I don't know if it was directorial debut, but directing and acting in this one. Seth Rogen was good in this, but I think the standout, and for a lot of people, was Keanu Reeves as Gabriel the Angel. For whatever reason, Keanu Reeves is just captivating on screen, and I think his performance in this, in a comedy film, really works. It's not gonna wow you, it's not gonna blow your socks off, but if you want just a straightforward hour 40 fun time, Good Fortune, if you missed it in 2025, I'd recommend checking it out. Entering the top 20 here, we have The Running Man by Edgar Wright. This is a 3.5-star for me, followed by Wicked for Good. I have Die My Love here at 18, and then The Naked Gun at 17, which will cap off my 3.5s. Before we get to top 15 though, I gotta mention Frankenstein at 16, a 4-star movie for me. I was teetering between this being a 3.5 and a 4-star. I think I'm a lot lower on this movie than some people are. Frankenstein, it was a lot of fun. I loved the adaptation, like the more true to the book adaptation that Guillermo del Toro ended up taking in this one. When it started off in the ice in the Arctic and there's a boat, I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I want. And Jacob Elordi's portrayal as the monster was amazing. Obviously, Critics' Choice Award supporting actor, award winner. So props to him. I think a lot of care went into this film, and I think I would be higher on it had I saw it in theaters. This was a 2025 release that unfortunately I saw on Netflix. I would have loved to see it in theaters. It just didn't work out for the timing. Now, I had a conversation with a coworker about this movie, a monster movie, right? Frankenstein. They liked this one more than they liked Nosferatu by Robert Eggers. And I gotta say, I think I lean more towards Nosferatu. Maybe on a rewatch, it'll be different. And maybe when I rewatch Frankenstein, it'll be different. But I think this movie, it looks good. There's a lot of like really impactful moments. And I think the creature, Jacob Elordi, that's where you make your money in this movie, is when he is on screen and he is doing his thing. I think that's where the movie really shines. Coming in here at 15, I have Fantastic Four: First Steps. 14, I have Warfare. Superman, I have at 13. Eternity at 12. And Roofman, my surprise movie of the year, I'd say, at 11. All of these are 4-star films for me. I do have 2 superhero movies here in the top 15. I think this is a great year for superhero movies. I don't know if the MCU's fully back, but I think it was a really good year for superhero movies, and I'm excited to see where the DCU goes and how the MCU is going to handle Doomsday. I did say Roofman was my, I think, surprise movie of the year. This movie was just, I think, marketed poorly for what it really delivered on. Was a very heartwarming, heartfelt, grounded performance from Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst. I mean, do I like Peter Dinklage's character in this? No, but he's good in it. Ben Mendelsohn's good in this as well. This movie has a lot more, I think, meat on the bones than what it was marketed as. And I don't want to sit in this section of 15 through 11 and only talk about Roofman, because I do want to talk about Eternity as well at number 12 for me. I think a great entry into rom-com as a genre. I think Miles Teller, Callum Turner, Elizabeth Olsen all work so great as a cohesive, like, love triangle. It's not really love triangle because it's only, I mean, there's a little bit of a moment. There's a little bit of a moment between Miles Teller and Callum Turner in the third act here, but I did really like Eternity. It was a lot of fun. Something that I loved about this movie was, if you've seen it, you know. If you haven't seen it, you might just want to watch it just to check out these little gags. In the afterlife, in the, in-between period before you choose your eternity. There are people trying to sell you on which eternity to go to, and it felt like the 22 Jump Street end credits. And if you don't know what those are, I beg you to go find them on YouTube right now, because that it's one of probably my most favorite end credit sequences in, I think, comedy films in general. Cracking the top 10, I do have an MCU project here. We've got Thunderbolts. I know. We got Wake Up Dead Man here at 9, Weapons at 8, and that's the end of my 4 stars. We're entering 4.5-star territory here, where I have The Long Walk and my most anticipated movie. I wanted to love this a lot more than I did, and it's still a 4.5. Number 6, I have Mickey 17. Robert Pattinson in this is phenomenal. The Mickey 17, Mickey 18 performances, just great. I was expecting maybe more out of Steven Yeun. I think I had my hopes set a little too high, because I think the sci-fi space exploration angle is really interesting. I think Robert Pattinson, I'd probably put him as my favorite working actor right now. And I wanted to love this so much more than I did. And I tried to convince myself that this movie was exactly what I wanted, but I did leave my showing of Mickey 17 wanting a little bit more. I think I am higher on this movie. I think that's normal, though, for the bias that I had going into it. I still do adore this movie. It is a lot of fun, but it wasn't enough to crack the top 5. At 5th, I have Marty Supreme. Shout out Timmy for winning Golden Globe. He was awesome in this movie. Just electric from start to finish. Marty Mauser, Marty moves, although egomania is a bad thing, but he was really, really great in his performance as Marty Mauser. Timothée Chalamet deserves all the flowers for his performance in this one. Gwyneth Paltrow's great in this. Odessa A'zion is amazing in this as well. I loved Tyler, the Creator, in this movie. There's a lot in this movie that I just was floored by, because it was my first experience watching a Safdie movie. And I think that kind of allowed the shock factor to play a little bit higher than maybe it would have had I seen Uncut Gems or Good Time going into Marty Supreme. But Marty Supreme was a top 5 movie for me in 2025 of the movies that I saw that were new. I missed a couple pretty important ones, and you'll find out soon which ones those are. But one of those was not Sinners, which I have at number 4 here, a 4.5 star for me. I loved Ryan Coogler gushing and being so passionate about the formats and the aspect ratios and what format you should see this movie in. You should see this movie in multiple formats. Like the videos leading up to Sinners coming out and releasing, I was so hooked by what Ryan Coogler was presenting as this project and this really big piece of art that he worked on. And I think he fully delivered on that. I do think I wanted a little bit more of Remick in terms of, I know that there's a big problem with show don't tell in Hollywood. And I think I wanted maybe like 2 more minutes of tell just to really flesh out Remick. And maybe I'm wrong in that. I still give this a 4.5 out of 5. So I do think that this movie is really good. And if you did not see it, you should check it out. Vampires, a great score by Ludwig Göransson in this as well. Also won a Golden Globe for that. This movie just rips from start to finish. It is fun. It's exciting. It's thrilling. Some scary moments. There's also a lot of, like, a good amount of comedy in this as well. It's littered with different genres. And I think when you get a genre melting pot of a movie, oftentimes I find myself enjoying each aspect of that, like a slice of pie. Like there's a different flavor for everyone. And I think you get a lot of different flavors in this that work for just about anybody. Number 3, I have Begonia, another 4.5, my last 4.5 of my list. Begonia was everything that I hoped for and more. I think the reason why it is my highest 4.5 star is because I think it met my expectations the most for what I was hoping to get out of the movie. The conspiracy theorist drama, trying to really figure out if Jesse Plemons is all right in the head, if there's a screw loose in there, or if maybe there's something else behind the curtain. And Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone, amazing in this movie. Aidan Delbus in his acting debut did phenomenal. There's just so much that goes into this movie, especially, you know, if you've seen this, you know. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to say anything about the way that the story continues, but there was not a dull moment in this movie for me. It seemed like every single time you peeled back a layer of the story, I was more invested in what was happening. And there was some really creative, I mean, maybe it's surface level camera work for me, but I really loved shifting perspective of who's in charge in a scene where there's points in the movie where the camera angle is looking up at someone and looking down at someone, and then you get a perspective shift. Really cool to see how the power dynamic kind of worked in this movie. Again, cannot praise Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons enough for their performances in Begonia. Just incredible stuff. Not enough, though, to get to the 5 out of 5 threshold, where I do have One Battle After Another as my second favorite movie of 2025. I don't know if there's anything I can say that hasn't already been said about Paul Thomas Anderson's masterpiece, a defining film of the 2020s, of, you know, the decade to come, maybe even the 21st century. One Battle After Another was nothing short of amazing. Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, Chase Infinity, Tiana Taylor, who just won Golden Globe Supporting Actress. Good job. They did it. They did, I think, a good thing there. No disrespect to Amy Madigan in Weapons, but I think Tiana Taylor definitely deserves her flowers. And this movie, again, similar to Sinners, I think it has something for everybody. There's more comedy in this than I expected, but it's so tense. You don't really know where the story's fully heading. And it's so interesting to watch Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Bob, kind of go through. It's like you're experiencing the story with him. I don't think Leo leaves anything on the table in this movie. I think he has his cake and he eats it too. But it's not enough to be my favorite movie of the year. And I might have some internal bias about what makes this my favorite movie, because I think One Battle After Another is the best movie I saw in 2025. But I'd be lying if I didn't cry 7 times at Rental Family, starring Brendan Fraser, an American actor working in Japan after getting a big hit for a toothpaste commercial, trying to find work. And he stumbles upon this agency that sells people on moments, where the first moment he is a white guy at a Japanese man's funeral who isn't dead. He's just there having people profess their emotions to them about how much he meant to them and how much they care for him. And Brendan Fraser's so confused. He's lost. He needs more information. And then you get sucked right into every little avenue, every corner of what Brendan Fraser's character experiences as he is being sold to people as moments, as family members, as writers, as companions. And it's about the emotional relationship building that he goes through and all the other characters go through at that agency. And it really was special to me. And I felt so, it felt so grounded. It felt like they were all human. And I know that might sound crazy, but when I feel a human connection in a movie, I can tell that they're not acting. There's moments in One Battle After Another where, yeah, they're acting. This is a movie. This is a dramatic movie. And it might be the content of the film that I think lends to a more grounded experience, where Rental Family is kind of a dramedy. It's drama, light comedy, but there's still some in there. But it's just so heartfelt, and maybe that's where I get the grounded experience from. But that is my 2025 top 25, I guess, of movies that I saw that were new releases. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Would you rank these differently? I'm sure you would, because art is subjective. And if you watch this all the way through, I appreciate you. Consider liking, consider subscribing, and on to passing 1,000 movies watched in 2026. Let me know what your favorite watch was in 2025, whether it was new, a rewatch, whatever. What was your favorite movie you saw in 2025?